Bima Impact, where we inspire lives.
Hello guys, welcome to Bima Impact. Today we are going to talk about the Anti-Homosexuality Act that has been passed by the Parliament, and in our studios we have a special guest.
I'm Gafidin Ray, and I'm a transgender rights activist, a human rights advocate, I'm a medical student, I'm a researcher, and the team leader of Initiative of Transgender Mission Uganda, rural, autonomous, non-hierarchical, trans feminist youth-led collective in eastern Uganda. And with ITWAM Uganda, we do policy change advocacy, media activism, and sexual reproductive health rights advocacy in eastern Uganda.
So have you heard about this bill? Did you hear it's like trending right now?
Yes, actually, as an interested party, I have, and I know of the act right now, the Anti-Homosexuality Act. Yes, I do.
What does it mean to you?
And the Anti-Homosexuality Act right now, what does it mean to me? Well, it was a threat when they were actually debating, when it was being retabled and drafting the entire process, but right now it's a reality, and it is threatening that our existence as LGBTQ people is actually seen as a threat to the country. The bill in itself, or the act in itself, having the audacity of denying us basic rights is really sad, and it just breaks my heart as a trans person.
Bima Impact.
What does this bill mean to the whole country? What effects does it have?
It negatively impacts the lives, the well-being, the existence of LGBTQ people, but also it has negative impacts to the general community members. For example, in this bill, it criminalizes landlords for renting out their property to LGBTQ people. It criminalizes human rights activists like me, human rights lawyers that fight for the rights of LGBTQ people. And that is not a good thing. That is not a good thing for you as a landlord to be jailed for giving someone, for renting actually someone a house or a property just because of their sexual orientation. When even you look into the health aspect, because it's going to affect service delivery, all those efforts, they not only impact us as LGBTQ people, but also the general society.
Bima Impact.
What effect is this bill going to have on your community of the trans person?
Yeah, so first of all, it has hate being sown. These religious leaders that pushed for this bill, the legislators that pushed for this bill, incited, they've called for violence. We've seen religious leaders like Pastor Ujingo calling out his followers to actually kill LGBTQ people, which is very drastic. It's terrible that people have to pay a price, a very large price, for something small, just as being, as existence, as being who you are.
Would you say that the Parliament handled this bill well?
I'm not a lawyer, and my expertise in how parliamentary procedures may not be, as sharp as they would be. But I would say yes, they handled it in a very drastic manner. To what I know as an activist is that the Parliament, when it's drafting a new bill or even redrafting an old one, like in this case, it had to take them something like 45 days in processes and procedures, which include inviting interested parties to debate and giving their views. But how many LGBTQ people did you see at the Parliamentary Legislative Committee? None. And that is a procedure they skipped. So it has a lot of questions on how it was handled, because I remember on the last debate when they were doing the voting, the speaker herself said we have to pass this bill whether we like it or not, and today those were her words. So meaning directly influenced the members of parliament to push for this bill. I would like to think there was a hidden agenda for actually these people pushing this bill so hard, because the entire process took something like a week.
Talking about the hidden agendas, there have been a lot of complaints going on that a lot of content has been put there. The content that have like suggestive messages, shows like you're trying to recruit them to join the LGBTQ.
Well, we are not trying to recruit. I would like to say, and actually put it on record, we are not trying to recruit. We are trying to normalize our existence. Because how long do we have to keep in hiding? We've been there for so long. Mostly the international media, what they're trying to do is to normalize these issues, to normalize seeing two men in love. Because when you talk about homosexuality, everyone would go to the sexual act. But our existence is, you should not minimize it to the sexual act. So it is about love. And these messages you're calling suggestive messages, they're trying to normalize our narrative.
Bima Impact.
People are going into schools, recruiting young kids, teaching them about the LGBTQ.
Yeah.
How true is that information?
The truth is, we have not seen any victim coming up front and saying I've been recruited. And if they have, they should then go and seek for justice. And I would love them to get justice, because it is not okay sexualizing a child. They're painting us with dirt to make us the bad people. When you look at the police report and with cases of defiling children, unnatural offenses specifically that are termed under section 145 of the Penal Code Act, there were 83 last year. And those include defilement for both maybe homosexual persons and heterosexual persons. If they sexualized your child, would you keep quiet? You wouldn't. You would obviously go and seek for justice. I haven't seen anyone come up and be like, so and so recruited me. This is just a propaganda.
Having been through all this, like you've read the bill, you've understood it, you've seen the repercussions about it. If you had the chance or the power to add just one thing in that bill, what would it be and why?
If this bill is really there to protect children, then I would make sure it protects children not based on sexual orientation or gender identity of the persecutors. If it is really principled on protecting children and protecting their rights, then I would make stricter amendments in protecting children from predatory tendencies of pedophilia. In this very context, I wouldn't adjust a thing, I would just scrap it off, because it's built on principles of discriminating, of marginalizing already criminalized minorities.
Talk about discriminative and marginalizing. Have you ever been discriminated in the society or received some threats?
I've been through some good beating for just being gay. I think these are our day-to-day lived realities as LGBTQ people. So yes, I've been discriminated 1,000 times. I've been stigmatized. I've been tortured. I've been violated.
Now imagine you wake up in the morning and the president signs the bill.
As I said earlier, that the hate has been sown already. The public is waiting for his violence. You've heard people say, kill them, do this. Now imagine if they say they're going to start arresting people for nothing, for just looking gay, because even these legislators even have a picture of how someone looks gay. I don't want to think about it. It will be very saddening. We are very resilient beings and we will survive.
As a trans person and an activist, how best can we protect the minors, the kids, from this whole saga that is going on?
Well, I think our legislators have to inform themselves with gender expression, sex characteristics, related information in a way that they can protect children without bias on LGBTQ people. I think the government should strengthen the available legal instruments that protect children, like the Children's Act of 2016. Actually, they should make those legal instruments strict here. Like they would, instead of targeting a certain minority group, they should make sure that these existing articles, acts, bills that protect children are in order. Either way, as I said, predatory tendencies are both in heterosexual persons and homosexual persons. We can also offer help to these people because these are psychological issues and they can be dealt with. Like I had Honorable Sarah Pendi, who said they should castrate homosexuals. Castration is a good remedy for pedophilics, and we've seen it being used internationally, like in sexual offenders and people who are pedophiliacs. It necessarily doesn't mean that they have to use it on homosexuals. It should be used to people that actually have predatory tendencies towards children. We can protect children as human beings without notations of sexual orientation, without notations of who I am as a person, what I do in bed. I think if we join efforts and strengthen these available legal instruments and actually implement them, children are safe.
Thank you for being here with us today, sharing the information, but thank you for all the efforts and the time. We really appreciate. And for the viewers out there, gay or not gay, I hope you've picked up something, and thank you so much for watching. It's been your girl Jara.
Hi guys, Bima Impact, where we